All right, we're going to start back up. So let's have some fun. Let's try to raise some money. All right, so is everybody ready for the parade of checks back there? Looks okay. Sharon, I'm going to invite our National Vice President, Sharon, up here to help me. Okay. So you know, my special projects this year is the ALA Foundation's Veterans Projects Fund. And we're going to start the parade of checks, actually, with my own. And as I've traveled, I've received some very generous personal donations to me. And I couldn't think of a better way to use those than for the Veterans Projects Fund. So I added some of my own funds, and that'll be the first check to start with. Thank you.
Are we ready to have fun? All right, let's raise some money for our veterans. The first presentation is from National President Janet Jefford with a donation of $500. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Colorado is Susie Bozzella with a donation of $350. Woo! Get excited out there. Presenting on behalf of the Department of South Carolina is Ann Parker with a donation of $1,000. Presenting on behalf of Unit 165 in Walcott, Connecticut is Nancy Hansen with a donation of $1,000. Presenting on behalf of the Department of New Mexico is Darlene Allen with a donation of $1,000. Our next donation, Joanne Jackson with a donation of $500. I can't hear you. All right. Next, we have Laura Mosby with a donation of $150. Presenting on behalf of Unit 33 in Beaumont, Texas is Paula Rainey with a donation of $2,500. I had one name and two people, that's why I hesitated. Presenting on behalf of the Department of South Dakota is Carol Edwards with a donation of $100. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Iowa is Diana Shattuck with a donation of $250. Woo! Woo-woo! Betsy Lee Hodges with a donation of $100. Woo! Susan Campbell with a donation of $50. I have a different name. Sharon Neville is with a donation of $100, but that's not Sharon. Oh, she's just presenting it. Okay. Okay. Joan Reinl with a donation of $500. You can clap louder than that. Anita Smith with a donation of $100. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Missouri is Gail Metzinger with a donation of $250. Susan Britton with a donation of $100. Rainey Gray with a donation of $200. Lisa Williamson with a donation of $100. Woohoo! Presenting on behalf of the Department of Alaska is Beverly Eads with a donation of $1,000. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Nevada is Glenna Seeley with a donation of $100. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Pennsylvania is Mary Ellen Switzer with a donation of $1,901. Sandy Miller with a donation of $100. Presenting for the Department of Illinois, Ann Flanagan with a donation of $1,500. Kathy Dodestal with a donation of $100. Presenting on behalf of Latonia Unit 203 in Kentucky is Karen Toll with a donation of $500. Presenting on behalf of Unit 8 is Faye Toomey with a donation of $100. From Kentucky again. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Indiana is Lisa Lyford with a donation of $2,748.50. Presenting for the Department of Massachusetts is Linda Ward with a donation of $2,000. Teresa Isensee with a donation of $50. Brenda Collins with a donation of $200. Woohoo! Donna Ray with a donation of $200. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Louisiana is Monique Batiste with a donation of $250. Diane Spencer with a donation of $100. Linda Smiley with a donation of $100. Presenting on behalf of the Past National Presidents Association is Linda Newsom with a donation of $200. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Oh, she wanted the past national presidents in the room to please stand. There they are. Yay! Thank you. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Michigan is Jacqueline Bugner with a donation of $200. Presenting on behalf of the Department of New York is Diane Gerber with a donation of $1,000. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Minnesota is Chris Ronning with a donation of $1,365. Shirley Frederick with a donation of $200. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Florida is Erna 35 Schwabe with a donation of $1,000. I remember her name because her email's Erna 35, so that's how I remember her name. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Oklahoma is Sue Heil with a donation of $380. I love you. Presenting on behalf of Nolan Smith Kirkland Unit 152 is Judy Daughtry with a donation of $50. Oh, no, it's not. That's Carly. That's actually Carly. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Kansas is Tanya Eisen with a donation of $300. Presenting on behalf of the Department of New Jersey is Debbie Noble with a donation of $250. The Department of Idaho with a donation of $25. Presenting on behalf of the Department of North Dakota is Marlis Abel with a donation of $1,000. Presenting on behalf of the Department of Virginia is Nancy Harding with a donation of $500. Woo! Presenting on behalf of the Department of Delaware is Arnita Coleman with a donation of $250. Virginia Nelson with a donation of $150. Karen Baylor with a donation of $250. Anita Biggs with a donation of $100. Okay, we had this final donation, and then, our national secretary was sitting next to me, and she got her checkbook out. So I got my checkbook out. First of all, we would like for Sarah Regal to present a donation of $100 for the safe return of our National Secretary, Debbie Buckler, and I think Janet wants to share a short story with us about that donation.
All right. So really quick, yesterday we're coming back from the monuments, and we're going to go to Greenbelt. And I said to Debbie, you want to come with us? And some of her staff go, well, wait a minute, she can't do this, she's got to go here. And jokingly, I said, well, I could just, for a donation of $100, I could just not return her. You won't have to get her back. And Sarah looked at me, she goes, I'll give you $100 if you bring her back. So I had to bring her back.
And we have Debbie is me, Sharon Knatzer for $100. Lastly, we would like to recognize those donors that could not present today. The Department of Ohio with a donation of $1,000. The department secretaries with a donation of $735. Lana Goley with a donation of $100. And she was present, but with Debbie Buckler with a donation of $200.
Supposed to be anonymous.
It doesn't say that. It said it on there too. The total raise for this year's Parade of Checks benefiting the American Legion Auxiliary Foundation's Veterans Project Fund is, and I'll add mine in, $29,204.50. I know that we will reach that $30,000 goal, Janet, because the weather played havoc with some of our wonderful supportive members not being able to attend the conference. And I know that you will reach that $30,000 goal for your Washington, D.C. conference collection.
Thank you. Okay, so I think there's going to be something called a national convention in Baltimore pretty soon. So here, to get you all excited, is the National Convention Chairman, Patricia Latch. Patricia?
Woo. Yeah. Baltimore, yay. Good afternoon. I like parades, but money parades, check parades, that's great. We love it. Woo. Well, good afternoon. As you know, the 2015 National Convention will be held in the state of Maryland, commonly known as America in Miniature. Maryland has beaches, farmland, mountains, and some of the best waterways in the country. The Chesapeake Bay and surrounding rivers are the home of the best blue crabs in the country. At least we think so. I know there's some further south, but And we have some awesome oysters, as well as a variety of fish. So you seafood lovers are going to love it. Baltimore City, also known as Charm City, is the site of the convention, and I have a little video for you to watch to highlight places to go and things to see, I think. That was fast. Did you catch it all? Well, in case you missed it, I'll try and recap. Baltimore is the home of Fort McHenry, the Orioles baseball team. And yes, they will be playing the Tampa Bay Rays if you're interested in attending. I think it might be Monday night, but I'm not positive. Don't hold me to that. The Ravens football team. The National Aquarium, with more than 16,000 creatures housed in rainforest, marine mammal pavilion, river gorge, and coral reef ecosystems. The Maryland Zoo, with more than 1,500 animals on 160 acres. The Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum, located at the site of the oldest railroad station in America. The Maryland Science Center, one of my favorites, with 3 levels of interactive exhibits and activities. The Walters Art Museum, American Visionary Art Museum, and the Baltimore Art Museum. We're loaded. The Hippodrome and the Baltimore Landmark Theaters, to name a couple. The new Horseshoe Casino, with free self-parking for those of you who like to partake of those games of chance and those one-armed bandits. You don't even have to do that anymore, do you? The Charm City Circulator, which is a free shuttle around town. The Inner Harbor, where you can get from here to there on a water taxi, and where the USS Constellation is docked near Baltimore's World Trade Center. The USS Constellation was the last all-sail warship built by the U.S. Navy. Commissioned in 1855, the ship saw action in the Civil War. It sailed into the Inner Harbor in the 1950s and is now open for tours all year round. Towering over the ship, the world's largest, tallest, I should say, pentagon-shaped building offers a fantastic 360-degree view of Baltimore. The 27th floor of Baltimore's World Trade is in an observatory. And Baltimore is the home of a plethora of fine restaurants and nightlife. You might want to check out the official restaurant guide in your packets. It's nothing but restaurants. Pretty good. I mean, I don't know if it's all inclusive, but it should be. It's a good size. Also, if you're interested in shopping, yes, everywhere you go, on pages 46 through 53 of your other handout, the Visit Baltimore magazine in your packets will show you all kinds of places to go to shop. Well, maybe the mayor of Baltimore can give you a little better look at the city you will be visiting. I think. Maybe not. Do we have it, guys? It's the thumb drive. It's a nice one, too. No one's saying no, 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 so I guess they're still working on it. Do you have the thumb drive with the mayor's? I mean, I brought it. And if they're giving us hand signals, we can't see your hand signals. I think somebody was. 1 minute? Okay.
We weren't kidding. We can only see about the first row. You're in the back of the room. You can have all sorts of fun. That's like going
Well, I might tell you while they're getting that going, you can go on the nationallegion.org website and click on 2015 National Convention, and it'll give you some detailed information about what's going on during the convention, and they'll update it as they have information. So that's a good source. But anyhow. You're going to love it. You're going to love Baltimore. I love Baltimore. Linda Newsom loves Baltimore. Sandy Dutton loves Baltimore. We all love Baltimore. Okay. It's not working at all. I'm so sorry, because it was really good.
And not for lack of trying. It's a technical thing. It's not working.
Okay. Technical difficulties. Anyhow. You're going to love Baltimore. We hope to see you there. We're anxious to have you come and visit our great city and our great state. So see you in August. Thank you.
All right, and I just received one more check for the Veterans Project, and this is $100 from my 2 pages this weekend. And would you please stand up, Jeannie Berry and Rose Marie Laboussiere. They've done a great job, and by the way, Sharon wanted her pages for next year to make sure they're watching. Okay. Whoops, let's break everything here. All right. Supporting the American Legion legislative agenda and advocacy is a big part of this conference. Next, we're going to learn about the Legion's priorities and thus our priorities for the 114th Congress. Trish Ward, our National Legislative Chairman, will oversee this next section. Trish?
Good afternoon, ladies. I'm looking forward to being on Capitol Hill tomorrow to advocate for our nation's veterans, service members, and their families. Are you? Yes. Come on, team. Everybody stand up. Hey, team, let's go. Stand up. We want National President Janet to really hear. Tomorrow, are you ready to advocate for America's heroes, our veterans, active duty servicemen, and their family? Tell her. Yes. She heard you. You can sit down. Great job. As a reminder, the Legion's Know Before You Go briefing on the legislative priorities has been incorporated into the Tuesday morning Commander's Call. We wanted to be sure that you felt prepared to speak to the Legion's legislative priorities this week and year-round, so we've arranged for a quick legislative priorities preview from Ian DePlank, the Legion's legislative director. Ian, who became the director in November of 2014, has worked for the Legion since 2007. He started out as an appeals representative at the Board of Veterans Appeals and has overseen policy and congressional testimony in both the Legion's Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation and legislative divisions. Ian served in the Virginia Army National Guard from 2002 to 2005, including a deployment to Afghanistan in 2004-2005, and was awarded the Combat Infantryman Badge and an Army Commendation Medal for actions in combat. He is a member of American Legion Post 180 in Vienna, Virginia. Please welcome Ian DePlank.
Good afternoon and welcome to Washington, D.C. That's a great greeting. I'm actually very, very excited to be here today and to talk to you kind of about our legislative priorities, but also more importantly, kind of how we can all work together and complement each other when we go in and we talk about those priorities. We have a list, we have a sort of leave behind the legislative priorities drop sheet. And in it has about 10 or 11 issues, you know, that we bring up from time to time when people are going to be in the city. These are issues we would like them to be addressing with their members of Congress when we are here. Are these the only issues that are important to the American Legion? No, we have a lot of issues. We have a very broad set of priorities that we want to get things accomplished. Our priorities come out of resolutions, and at any given time for the American Legion, we have probably over 300 different resolutions guiding the things that we want to see accomplished in Congress. All of those things are important, and all those things are things that we want to cover, but this tends to cover the things that are important kind of right now to deal with the Veterans Affairs Committee, who will be addressed by the commander in a couple days. How can you guys help? Well, the best part of helping is being complementary and how we all work together on that. The way that I like to describe it and the way I like to think about this process, if anyone asks you, does America have a responsibility? Does this country have a responsibility to take care of its veterans? What would you say to that? Yes, absolutely. Is this country just the government? Is this country just the VA? No. This country, and it was founded on the notion that this country is the people. And so the people all together have a responsibility to take care of the veterans, and that involves everyone working together. The VA is an absolutely critical component of that, and we want a good, strong VA that's going to be there and help take care of those veterans. But it also is going to require all of us, not just the VA, not just veteran service organizations, not just members of Congress, it's everybody working together and how we can complement that. How many of you go down and do individual meetings with the members of Congress? It's a good chunk of the people in the room. How many of you do that as a part of the meeting with the Legionnaires? And how many of you do it as a separate meeting kind of on your own? So there are still some people who do that as well. Each type of thing is going to be a little bit different. You're going to have different ways that you can complement that. But the most important thing, and I say this to the Legionnaires, but this is vitally important to you as well, what we do best is we put a face on the problem. We can put a face, we can personalize these problems so that we can get something done about them. Very recently, the Clay Hunt SAVE Act passed both the House and the Senate, was signed into law by the President, and it's going to do a lot of different things that sort of address veterans' suicide and veterans' mental health care, which is one of the issues that we have on our priority sheet. Part of the way that was successful, if you look at the name of the bill, it talks about Clay Hunt, who was active in the veterans community and unfortunately took his own life. But by putting a face on that, it tends to personalize that problem. You can put out statistics about the number of veterans who commit suicide every day, And the numbers are high, and they're upsetting and disturbing, but it's not the same as being able to talk about a person that you know who struggled with mental health, who struggled with a mental health disorder, and maybe was at the end of their rope. What role do you have in that? I can make that personal right now, today, and say that 10 years ago, a decade ago, I wouldn't be here today if it was not for what my wife did to intervene. I had come back and was going through a very difficult readjustment period, and I didn't want help. I didn't think I needed help. And my wife dragged me down to the vet center, against my will at the time. And she knew what was right, ultimately. And it ultimately wound up being the best thing that could have happened to me. I was able to take a very difficult and frustrating transition period where the civilian world was not what I expected it would be coming home. And I was able to turn that around and eventually develop a very, very successful career of advocacy for veterans. That happened because of my wife. That happened because my wife stepped in and intervened and did the thing that needed to be done, especially at a time when I wasn't aware or able to recognize that myself. When I dealt with claims at the Board of Appeals, the number of times that we would go through helping a veteran get help for something, and the letters to corroborate the story, it was the story that the wives or the family members would tell of, how dad, or in other cases, how mom was different when they came back from deployment. The family members are the people who can speak to that and who can really personalize that and drive that home. And on an issue, and it's one of our big issues that's on here, mental health and traumatic brain injury, the veterans who struggle with that, the other piece of that is the caregiver piece, the people who are there to take care of them and the families, and that's critically important. We have some very good programs that are working to help caregivers, but they're recent programs. It's only for post 9/11 veterans. We want to see that expanded out to veterans from all eras because people have been taken care of. Thank you. That's a critical piece, and if you don't have it in your own life, I'm pretty sure you know somebody, or you've seen somebody, you've seen a neighbor, and you can tell the story, and you can illustrate that and make that a personal thing so that lawmaker sees that this is not just a bill about number of people who are struggling about this. This is about people, because that's ultimately who it affects. We want to see an expanded use of complementary and alternative medicine for mental health disorders and post-traumatic stress disorder or traumatic brain injury. There are many things out there. There's medications that you can give people, but medications alone aren't going to help. And sometimes too much medication can be a problem. There's art therapy. There is Tai Chi. When you get into the range of things that are being done, there have been some amazing things with hyperbaric oxygen. There's acupuncture, equine therapy, canine therapy. Speaking as a longtime dog owner my entire life, the amount of validation you get when you come home after a really long day and it's been really brutal, and you get there and your dog is just waiting and walks in like you're the most important person in the world, absolutely will pick you up. And there are programs that are out there for veterans that we can kind of expand that. Getting veterans to have access to it, the utilization is nowhere near enough. Maybe you've seen programs like that in the community. Maybe you've seen the effect that it had on a veteran to go down and go in an art therapy program, or to spend some time working with horses, or working with dogs in the community. Maybe you've seen that and you can relay why that's important, the amount of change that affects in that veteran. Some of the other issues that we have there are issues that disproportionately affect the families. When we look at the unfair offsets that are there for veterans who are on disability, but also have their retirement offset, or for the survivor benefits program offset with the DIC, what we call the widow's tax. That's unfortunate. A veteran or a family shouldn't be penalized because they bought into a program while they were in the military, whereas if they had gone outside and made investments outside the military, that's not going to be offset by their DIC. So we need to get those unfair penalties and taxes, what we consider to be disabled veterans taxes, we need to get those repealed. TRICARE, for people who are part of military families, the people who take the kids to the doctors, who see the family part of that, that's the story that can be told, and it's critical. It's critical to get that apart so that people stop thinking about it in terms of just dollars and cents and how much they can save from a budget, and start thinking about it in terms of what that's doing to impact a family, and what that's doing and how that affects the bills at home for a family of a military, active duty retirees, what it's like to lose benefits or to have the benefits restricted for something like commissary privileges or PX privileges. These are all things that we can put a personal face on. And that's one of the things that we can absolutely do best. So when you go into those offices, it's about building a rapport kind of with them, and it's about showing them sort of what the face of that effect is going to be on the families that are out there, the very real families that are out there. All of the politicians that you'll speak with, all of the staff that you'll speak with, they're obviously concerned about getting elected. They're concerned about what happens, what the voters will think of in their community. We can be the face of that community. We can go out there and we can accomplish these things. I sat there this morning in one of our commission meetings, and we saw a history of veterans benefits, and it was very interesting to see how interwoven the American Legion and the American Legion family had been in accomplishing many of these tasks. These are things that we can do that sort of move mountains for veterans and get the benefits that are there. But the benefits that are there are for the veterans, but it's also for their families, and it's about the impact that they have going down that road. The greatest thing for me about the American Legion family is that we are a big family. We are a part of every community. I know when I walk into a member of Congress's office and I talk about, well, you know, the Legion post down in your town, it doesn't matter what town it is that I'm talking to. I can say there's a Legion post down in your town, and there's a family community that exists out of that post. And that includes the Legion, that includes the Sons, that includes the auxiliary. It's part of a large family. And the families matter in those communities. Because in most places outside of DC, DC's it's a small town, but outside of that, people can get focused on numbers and kind of dry text, and they sort of forget what the lifeblood of the communities are back out in America. And that's what we can come to DC, and we can wake them up, and we can make them see that. I'm struck with an image from when I went to basic training in Fort Benning, Georgia. I was in infantry school, and we would get up. For some reason, they have infantry training down there, and they have regular basic training for people who go on to other jobs. And for some reason, the infantry drill sergeants woke us up a lot earlier than the other people. I was never entirely sure what the point of that was, but we were getting up a lot earlier, and we would go out, and we would do our exercise, and we'd do our running. And one of the things that actually kind of tickled me a little bit was as we would, as much as it can, you know, when you're going through that, we'd come back running in the morning, and we would run past the barracks of the regular basic training that were still sleeping while we were out there doing our PT. And as you know, the military will chant and sing cadence as we go by. And they would encourage us to sing louder as we went past those barracks to wake them up. And when you're flagging a little bit in the morning, when you're out there doing that run, and it's really, really hard to summon the energy, summoning the energy to sing a little bit louder and wake them up was not that difficult. So I tied that in with, I had a member of Congress talking about Rolling Thunder, which comes in, and I know Legion Riders participate in that, another big part of the family, that will come in on Memorial Day. And Rolling Thunder just keeps going by, hours and hours and hours. It is an unbelievably amazing thing to watch. I live in Northern Virginia, just off Route 66, and I can see them going by on Route 66 from not very far from my house. And it's just this unending stream. And I was talking to a member of Congress, and they were talking about it as they come through, and it's like, you can't help but hear that. And I thought, yeah, that's what we do. You know, that's what the veterans are here to do. We're here to wake up the rest of America. We're here to wake up our Congress. And You guys are absolutely a huge part of that wake up. And so we need to give them a wake-up call. The last year for the American Legion family has been, I think, a wake-up call for the country. To come out and talk about leadership needing to change within the VA, and it has changed. There's still more change that's going to continue to be needed. But the VA is and absolutely will be something that is a great resource that's there to help veterans. It's lost its way a little bit, and they're going through the process of trying to reform that and change that and make sure that they're still there to serve that. We'd hear a lot of things about, well, we need to make sure that we're doing what's right for VA. We need to make sure we're doing what's right for veterans. If we're doing what's right for veterans, the VA part will take care of itself. So we can go in there and we can build that up and we can make that stronger. But part of it, and this is the most critical thing, this is the most beautiful thing I think that we do, is we go in there and we put a personal face on it. Because it's really hard to vote against a face. It's really hard to vote against the pictures that you see that actually remind you of what it is that you're helping. When claims workers for the VA, and I used to talk to, when I worked with VA&R, we would go around and do the regional office visits. The Legion has a program, the Regional Office Action Review, where we go in where they're processing claims. And we look at some of the claims that they've worked on, but we also interview and talk to the VA employees. And, when you think about it, VA employees, and they sometimes get a bad rap, but VA employees, every single one of them is somebody who gets up every day and goes to work to help veterans. A lot of them are veterans, and some of them are just as frustrated by the problems in the system as the veterans on the outside. And I was talking to one, he was a National Guardsman in New Jersey, and he worked on claims. He was a raider on claims. And he said he kept a picture of his platoon, his National Guard platoon, at his desk. And he would just think of a face from that and put it on top of each case file that he picked up to open up and start working through the benefits. It wasn't that specific veteran, but it helped that he was thinking of a face from his platoon to personalize that, because otherwise it's just a number across a folder that somebody's claimed for benefits. And you forget that for that number, for that claim for a veteran's benefits, there's a family back home of some kind, because every veteran has a family somehow. There's a life story, there's personal loss, there's somebody who needs to be made whole, there's a family that needs to be made whole. And that's what we need. That's why we need to get these benefits correct. And that's why we need to get it right. There's a exhibit, if you get a chance at some point while you're here in DC, they still have a portion of the exhibit, it sometimes has been expanded, at the Museum of American History, of artifacts, of things that have been left at the Vietnam Wall. And the Vietnam Wall is down here, and people come in and they leave something behind. And it's fascinating. Sometimes it's a can of beer. Sometimes it's a hand of cards. Sometimes it's a very personal and moving letter, or a flower, or little bits, things you don't even know what it relates to. And I remember going through the exhibit at one point, and it all of a sudden kind of hit me that you're looking at every single piece of that it's a hand of cards, or, there's a story behind that. Because there's a story, there's a complete story for every single name that's on that wall. And then when you look and see the number, it gets overwhelming. And it was very overwhelming at that point. And I think I had to, after I left, I think I had to walk through the First Lady's dresses to just, be able to get back to okay, I can breathe, I can think of some silly stuff again. But it was very, very moving. And that's the piece that we can bring to that. We can bring, whether it's the hand of cards, we can bring, whether it's that personal letter. We can put a face to every single one of those names, because that's just one war. And this is an organization that from its very beginning has been for veterans of all wars. The ones that were World War I, World War II, Korea, the ones that were in the past, Vietnam, the ones that are going on today. We're back in Iraq. We're still in Afghanistan. Who knows what tomorrow is going to bring? The service members are always going to be there. The families that are there on the home front are always going to be there. But we have to be able to continue to tell that story as fewer and fewer people who serve in Congress are members of the military and know what that means. It's our job to speak for those people. So you guys have a great job. It's great to be able to go into those offices. I hope you're energized to go down there and do that. I hope you can think about that and think about how you can make it personal. And I want to thank you for having me here to speak to you about that and to continue the partnership that we have. I think it's phenomenal. I'm very envious of everyone's opportunity, whether it's yours, whether it's the Legionnaires, whether it's the Sons, to be able to go out and spread that message. I do a little bit of it, on an ongoing basis as I meet with various offices, but it's not the same as the ability to walk in to an office and crystallize it down into one personal story that maybe makes someone think differently about what they have to do for our veterans. So thank you for having me here today, and thank you for everything you do for the American Legion family. Yeah, and I can take a few questions.
We do have time for a few questions for Ian. If anyone has any, please come to the center microphones. He'd be happy to answer them. Well, then please join me in thanking Ian for coming to give us a view of the legislative priorities for 2015. It's really great to hear how our members can make a difference, and we're looking forward to seeing our members at the Commander's Call and Know Before You Go tomorrow, so please plan to attend. Tomorrow's an exciting day. It begins with the Commander's Call and Know Before You Go right back here in this room. Then the Legion family will visit Capitol Hill to speak with our representatives and senators, but what happens after tomorrow? Be sure to continue this momentum when you're home and encourage other members to join you. Advocacy starts at the grassroots level, so write emails and letters, use social media, and continue to meet with your senators and representatives back in your home districts. But remember, our positions are those of the American Legion, and I can't stress how important it is that we stay on topic. Be sure to use the point papers, watch the monthly e-bulletins to see if there's a new topic to act on, and start receiving the Legion's action alerts. If you have a question about the Legion's position on a specific topic, you can email legislative@alaforveterans.org, and we'll make sure to get you an answer. Next, I want to draw your attention to the I'm on it buttons. I'm sure you've seen them around today. These women are on the ALA's Legislative Council, which means they have a special connection to a senator or representative. And when a vote is near the Legion, they know they can call on them to make an extra outreach to the senator or representative to encourage them to vote in a certain way. Do you have a personal connection to a representative, senator, or member of their staff? Then we want you. Do you know of an ALA member with a similar connection? Then we want her too. I know there are more of these ladies in our membership, so please work with your department president to complete the nomination form. It's in the plan of action and on the legislative page at alaforveterans.org. And I will also share that the legislative committee members are signing people up here today as well. So please look for the I'm on it buttons and be sure to seek us out. We'll get you signed up. Will you join me to make a difference right now? Come on, team, right now. Before I mention the Legion's action alerts, which are emails the Legion sends out when we all need to contact members of Congress about an upcoming vote or important issue, in less than 5 minutes, you can send an email with text written by the Legion's legislative staff to your representative and senators. Signing up for these alerts is as easy as 1, 2, 3. So let's sign up together. If you have a smartphone or tablet with you, please join me. So now's your time to fumble in your purse and get it out. Smartphones, tablets, go for it. Ready? Out? Got them up? Got them fired up? These are the same directions you'll need if you prefer to sign up from a computer later. Open your internet browser. So now it's okay to be on your phones and tablets. You have approval. Does everybody have their browser open? And type in the address bar legion.org/take action. So in the browser, legion.org/take action. Hit go. Scroll down and tap sign up form. Enter your information and then hit submit. It's really that easy. If you're having trouble with this, please see me or our program coordinator, Sharon Riegsecker, after the program concludes today. We'll be on either side of the room to help you. I look forward to seeing the auxiliary increase our grassroots efforts for our veterans, service members, and their families. Thank you, ladies. Madam National President.
Okay. Before we close, I have one quick announcement. When we're done, will the ladies from Puerto Rico please meet me here on stage? Thank you. All right. As we close today's session, I am hopeful that each of you has learned something new that will help you to better understand and serve our veteran community and further our mission to enhance the lives of our veterans, militaries, and their families. Those of you that will be participating in the Hill Walk tomorrow are already taking action to further our mission, and I applaud your efforts. Please remember that our work is not done when we leave Washington, D.C. In fact, it's just beginning. Each of us has the responsibility of working and living the mission every day. I ask you to share what you learned here, to share your personal stories of why you do what you do, and ask others to join you. I want to remind everyone that the Commander's Call and Know Before You Go will be held tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. in the International Ballroom. I think that's this room right here, and I hope to see all of you. Please remember to check your personal agendas for this meeting for your Wednesday's activities. If you are attending the Commander's testimony on Capitol Hill, you must be in your seat by 9:30 a.m. If you are staying at the hotel and attending the post-9/11 Veterans in the Media session, it will be held in the Lincoln Monroe rooms and begin at 9 a.m. Again, thank you all for being here with us in Washington, D.C. Thank you for paying such good attention and for participating in all the events. Oops, an announcement. Our secretary has an announcement before we close. That's okay.
Unscripted in there. I apologize. Okay, real quick. On the back table are some military one-source information cards, so if you didn't get how to access that information, and they're back there as a 2-up, so if you pick one up and they're not enough, you can split them in half and you can give one to somebody else who needs one. On where? Are they near Bob's Voice? Oh, okay. And Madam President, real quick, a point of personal privilege. I just want to thank Donna Ray from the Department of Ohio. At convention, here, when we've had meetings in Indianapolis, she shows up with a ginormous box of cookies for the headquarters staff. And oftentimes, that's all that any of them eat. So for the care and feeding of your headquarters staff, I just want you to join me in thanking Donna Ray, because that's just one of those unsung hero things that she does. One time there were a bunch of material that needed to come to headquarters, and to ship it from Ohio was going to be what, a couple $100 or something like that? $600. She and her husband drove it over because it was less for them to just volunteer and drive it, which was what, a 3, 4, whatever drive from their house. How many? 2, I'm sorry, okay, 2-hour drive. That's right, you're on the west side of Ohio, 2-hour drive. Anyway, those are the little things that we just quietly thank people for, and I thought, while it popped in my head, I would just do that right now. So Janet, in the spirit of goodwill, I thought that was a good goal-to story to tell. Remind you real quick that both the breakfast and the luncheon, if you have an invitation to one tomorrow, it's in room 5101. The breakfast is at 7. The luncheon is at noon. It's by invitation only. And now, Madam President, that concludes my announcements. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. It was good. Okay, I now call upon the National Chaplain, Karen Baylor, to offer the benediction, and then please remain standing while the pages retire the colors. Please stand.
Again, benediction, a good sending. And now go forth into the world in peace. Be of good courage. Hold fast that which is good. Render to no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the afflicted. Honor everyone. Love and serve the Lord, rejoicing in the power of his Holy Spirit. Amen.
Pages, please retire the colors. Hand salute. This session of the 2015 Washington, D.C. Conference is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone.